Playettes. It's your boy Codehova from Fly Combinator. We're pimping Swift, and we're gonna be talking about unwrapping optionals with if let. So let's say, back to the data we had in the previous video where we have these values where they're gonna be int optionals, string optionals. We have a street name, which is a string optional. We have a cell number, which is an int optional. Instead of using bang, right? Instead of using the exclamation mark to unsafely force unwrap a value out of an optional, how can we do it safely? And what is the recommended way to unwrap values from an option? One option that's very popular is the if let. So let me write this out for you. So currently we have a 40 int optional, all right? So we know, because since we created this string of 40, when we convert it to an int, we know that this is going to really become 40, all right? But how do we safely unwrap this? We do it by saying if let 40 int equals 40 int optional, open curly brace. So within here, we're able to use this as an int value if this is actually an int value, not a nil. So we could say 40 int plus 60. So as you see here, this is a 40 and it's adding to 60, so it's equaling to 100. So just for example's sake, let's print it out. So it turns out to be 100. So what this if let is saying is that if this 40 int optional value is actually an int, we're going to make this constant value that we create equal into this. All right, let me say it one more time. So this 40 int optional, it could either be an int value or it could be a nil. So if this is not nil, I want to make this new constant that I create equal into that int value. But this new constant can only be used within this block. Okay? So that's what you're doing. You're safely unwrapping it, but once you safely unwrap it, it could only be used within this block. So, in the case where this was 40, let's see if this is able to be run. It's actually a nil. All right, this 40 int optional is a nil because this isn't an actual number. Okay, it's a number. It's a number and a letter. So this cannot be converted into an int. So when this block is running, if let 40 int equals 40 int optional. So if this is an actual int, print out the value of 40 plus 60. But this is not an int, so it's not working. So what you could do is you could have an else. Print, this is not an int value. All right. So it's printing out, this is not an int value because it failed. This safe unwrapping has failed. So that's why this else is running. All right. It's the exact same when we're dealing with this value, because here we have a string optional. So how we could safely unwrap that is say if let pimp C equals RIP, print pimp C. All right. So because we know, let me just comment that out for now. So we got Chad Butler printing out, and that's because this dictionary with the key value of trill, we know that it's Chad Butler. But because this is a dictionary call, this is a string optional. So that's why we're safely unwrapping this string optional. If let pimp C equals RIP, print out that string. All right. Again, if it doesn't work, print maybe it's bun nah, that wouldn't work. So pimp C is not here. All right. So when we run this, it's going to run out Chad Butler. But let's say, for instance, the key was actually Trillist. All right. So pimp C is not here because we're calling out trill instead of Trillist. Okay. So just to get our practice in, let's say if let street name equals street name. There's nothing preventing you from doing the if let with the same name as the optional value. So within this block of code, if street name is really a value, if it's not nil, then we could do something with it. So print street name. Or let's do some string interpolation, all right? My street name is street name. Okay. So let's run with that. Okay. So here we have a string optional equal to Codehova. Okay. So because it's string optional, I mean, it declares right here that it's the string optional. We don't know if it's a string or a nil. So in that case, we have to do the if let unwrapping. So we're saying if street name is really street name, if it is a string value, I want you to run this string. So as we see in the debug console, my street name is Codehova. But let's just quickly change street name into a nil. And we run it. We'll see that because it's a nil, this will not run. Okay. And it's the same for here. If number equals my cell number, my bad. If let number equals my cell number, what we're going to do is we're going to print call me at number. Bam. When we run this, we'll see that it says call me at 555-666-7777. You dig? So that is unwrapping optionals with the if let. Alright? So we're pimping Swift. It's your boy Codehova, Fly Combinator, all day. Let's get this bag.